Well, thank you guys for sharing your Sunday afternoon with us. We have very interesting information about manufactured home, HUD regulation, foundation, and all this fancy stuff. My name is Bill Taha. I'm the president of Precision Structure Engineering. Also, I am the former associate professor of civil engineering at Oregon Institute of Technology. If I don't provide the information that you need today, you can visit our website at structure1.com. It has more information about that topic. You're going to take about 10 minutes from your time. Feel free to ask a question during the first. Yes, sir.
Would it be easier if we moved over there for you?
No, it's up to you.
Well, it might be easier for you.
Oh, sure. Thank you. All right. I wish everybody is as nice to me. That's really, thank you.
You never know.
Yeah, never know. Right. Keep it up, though. I mean, don't change, please. All right. Okay, manufactured home. You guys remember in the old days, manufactured home was kind of a boxy and blah, 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 not very nice. Now, these days, manufactured home are really very nice, and you can get them in different shapes. But the question is, what is mobile or manufactured home? In the old days, it's called the mobile home. These days, they call it manufactured home. Why? I do not know, but I do know that this is the name right now, manufactured home. Now, remember now, when we say manufactured home, you see the chassis? It has a chassis beam, and what is this?
Wheels.
Wheels. So manufactured home always have a chassis steel beam, and always have wheels. If it doesn't, it's not a manufactured home. And usually you get it to a site by an engine or a truck that pull the home to the final destination. That's another mark of what's manufactured home. Okay, this is not a manufactured home. Anybody knows why this one is not manufactured home?
Can't take the wheels off of it.
It's got a drive system.
It has an engine. If it has an engine, it is not manufactured home. This is not a manufactured home because also still has an engine. That's RV, recreational vehicle, blah, 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 blah. This is not, even though it's manufactured on a factory like you can see, transported to the site, even though it is manufactured in a factory, it is not manufactured home by the common definition. Why is that? Anybody knows?
No wheels.
No wheels. Smart girl. It does not have wheel or chassis. That's right. Thank you. What's your name, ma'am?
Ellie.
Ellie, you're a very smart girl. Now, manufactured home, guys, is very strong. As you can see, that manufactured home crossing a bridge, the bridge collapsed and the manufactured home itself crossed the canal here. So why would you have to worry about manufactured home if they are that strong? Because the foundation does not come with the manufactured home. So it is your job and my job kind of to make sure that we have a strong foundation for the strong manufactured home. As you can see the gap after earthquakes or wind or hurricane, even some of them has what we call tie down, but if the tie down is not done correctly, it is still gonna find that the house will be shifted relative to the foundation. So not only we need tie down and we need to tie the house to the foundation, but we need to do it the correct way. How do you do the foundation? We said that it's important that we do foundation correctly. So what's going on right now, how people do it? What is the bad and the good method to do it? Is that good? You guys want to listen? Hear it? Okay, let's go for it. Here is the bad way. I'm not sure if you can see it, but do you see the stack of blocks underneath? It's not lined up. Here it is. This is the bad way. Number one, I highly recommend that instead of having a wood as a foundation, there is concrete blocks now that you can use precast that you use under the stack. The concrete is by far much better than the wood because wood does decay and you can see there is gap under the foundation here. So we use concrete blocks and most of the time also we use gravel under the concrete blocks. The stack of, even though it is allowed by HUD code, use dry, there is no mortar between the stack of blocks here, but it has to be lined up, not in a bad shape like this one. See here, shifted, and it's not lined up, not a straight vertical line. So this is the bad way. Again, also the foundation and the perimeter of the house need to go below what we call frost depth. Frost depth can vary from 18 inches to 48 inches to 12 inches in California, and South Oregon sometimes is 24 inches. So from the top of the dirt to the bottom of your perimeter foundation, it has to go down deep, whatever frost depth specified by your building department. Each building department will answer that question for you free of charge. Now you see, still we are in the bad things. You see this now foundation, guys, and just by the foundation, you dug a hole or a depression in the soil. I do not know why. That's not allowed either. So that's also still bad practice to do. What is the good way? The most common way. The most common way, they pour a slab called runners. See, this is a runner. A runner, we have a runner under the perimeter of the house. We have a runner under the chassis. We have another runner under the marriage line. You know, guys, when you have two sections together, it's called the marriage line. We have a runner side there. Here is the foundation as a runner slab. This one will support the edge of the house as well as the first chassis beam. That's why it's wide. It will support the chassis and the perimeter of the house, which does need support. The middle one is wide because it will support the marriage line and the two interior chassis beams. That's why the middle one is wide for that purposes. Remember, you are required to support the edge of the house. The wall that supports the roof must have a support at the edge, at the very edge of the house. It is required by manufacturer and by the code to have a support at the very edge of the house, just underneath the exterior walls. So some people get confused and say, what code shall we use? Now, HUD is a federal code, so we do not follow the local building code. We do not. However, some building departments have regulation for that, but it does follow the HUD code. But please, here it is, the HUD user. These books, I think you can download it free from the HUD, U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, which is abbreviated to HUD. You can get it for almost free, or $5 or something like that. This one has all the information that you need to follow if you can understand it regarding manufactured home foundation. And that is the basis for when I issue a certificate and I say that the foundation comply with HUD. I read that book. The question is, to be honest with you, how much or how many times do you have to read the book? I personally, in order to get it in my head, and I'm a licensed engineer by the way, I had to read it about 20 times. Why? Because usually the code is a legal document. It's not written in easy, like textbook. So if I read it 20 times, then you guys maybe need to read more 20 until you comprehend it. When some of my students come and tell me, Bill, we read the book or the code 10 times and we still don't understand it. My answer is, read it 10 more times. That's what I did. And they think they can read it a couple of times and they're going to get it. That's not the case. Now, just to briefly summarize it in simple terms, the code has two main methods. It has more than two methods for sure. It has about 20 methods, by the way. But the two main methods, guys, in this HUD code is, number one, you can use reinforced masonry perimeter wall, but it has to be reinforced system. So you have at the perimeter, at the skirting around the building, you need to have reinforced, and I'm gonna reinforce that it is reinforced masonry skirting system. The second system that's cheaper, which is I personally don't prefer it, but it's allowed by the code, is the tie-down system. So either you have reinforced masonry skirting or tie-down system, but the tie-down system comes with also dry stack blocks. Here's how did we fix one house that did not have neither the reinforced skirting masonry system or the tie-down. We give the owner two options. Tie-down is cheap, it's not the best method to do it, or you want to have reinforced the skirting. That particular owner had already masonry skirting system, but it's not reinforced. Remember, hard code does require, if you're gonna depend on it and don't use tie down, it has to be reinforced. As you can see, we added reinforcement into it, and there is a anchor bolt to tie the sill plate to the concrete. How did we do that? It is simple. What we do with that, we came to the, this is a skirting around the house. As you can see, it is not connected to the house. It's just there, just like a animal shelter or something at the skirting. So what we did is we used a concrete saw to remove the outer shell of the masonry slot, vertical slots. As you can see here, we removed the outer shell of the masonry. We then drilled the hole in the concrete or any solid portion of the masonry. As you can see, it's drilling a hole right now. After we drilled the hole, we cleaned the hole by air pressure and wire brush. Both, required both. So we cleaned the hole with wire brush and air pressure. Then we inserted epoxy into the hole. And once you insert the epoxy, we inserted a threaded rod into the epoxy to grab the solid portion and then go through with a nut to what we call here sill plate that we installed new on the top of the skirt. So we have a epoxy, a rod, and then the rod goes with a nut to grab at a sill plate, pressure treated sill plate here at the top of the masonry. The next one is we poured the slots that we had made in the concrete side. We poured it with concrete. And after we poured the concrete, now we have reinforced it in the bottom masonry skirting, and we have the house. Our job to tie the two together. Tie the house to the things. Remember, we added a sill plate here, and we have the house here. So what we had, what we call band or skirting, if you like, it's not fully skirting, but it's a band. It's about 8 inches of OSB